Hello, everyone. My name is KJ, and I am the host of Great Talk and Entertainment official channel. And today's video is fun facts about Marvel's character Wonder Man. So, this week of January 27th, Marvel Television, aka Marvel Studios, is going to release a new series on Disney Plus called Wonder Man, and they're going to release all 8 episodes on the same day. And so definitely be on my lookout for all 8 spoiler reviews. And if you're still not sure yet, I will definitely have a non-spoiler review for Marvel's Wonder Man that's going to be available on the Disney Plus streaming service. So that comes out on the 27th. And I decided to do your guys' homework because Kevin Feige, who helps run Marvel Studios, said in a past interview that this is a show where you kind of need to do your homework, and I want to be the guy that helps catch you guys up because again, we do have a Avengers movies which is called Avengers Doomsday, and it comes out this year in the month of December. So I definitely would recommend to watch this because this is definitely going to be connected to Avengers Doomsday in so many ways, and I can't wait to explain to that. So without further ado, I'm gonna just hop on to it. So here's what we should know. Let me break down the connections to how this is going to connect to upcoming Marvel projects and past Marvel projects from the movies and the shows. So we have a character named Agent P. Clearly, who is played by Arion Moham, who, and I hope I said his name correctly. And he plays this Marvel agent character named P. Clearly, and he was in the movie Spider-Man: No Way Home, and he was also in the TV series called Ms. Marvel, and now he's in this show, and that's a connection there for everybody to see. So this agent is like investigating or looking for these particular Marvel characters, and it seems like Wonder Man and AKA slash Simon Williams, that's his government name. Wonder Man is like his superhero man. So just to make that clear. And then Ben Kingsley, the actor, is playing Trevor, the character Trevor, who is from the Iron Man 3 and the movie Shang-Chi. And so now Trevor was the guy who pretended to be the terrorist, right? The Mandarin. He was the fake one. He wasn't the actual one. We got introduced to the real one in the Shang-Chi movie. And so he's a character who plays an actor. Trevor is an actor within the MCU. And Simon Williams is an actor who is Wonder Man, but this is how you connect it. So, with that being said, is this is a callback to the Iron Man, and this is important because as I explain more, that having Trevor part of this makes him connected to uh Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel. And this series so far has just these small connections, but they're going to help build up a bigger connection for the MCU, of course. So those are your connections to that. And it's not guaranteed like Wonder Man's going to meet Spider-Man or Shang-Chi or Miss Marvel in the future, but it's a possibility. This is a start. This is a way to build it up if it's possible next year or in the next or whatever phase they can get to him, because we don't know how successful this is going to be is, and we don't know like how the people are going to feel about this show, so we'll see in time. Now, let me just talk about what Wonder Man the series is about. Again, this is an 8 episode about a man named Simon Williams, and he's played by the actor Yaha Abdul Mateen the second. And this is a character again as a inspired actor, but he's in this universe in the MCU that there's a law now that if you are a superhero or have superpowers, you are not allowed to audition in for roles in movies or shows. So obviously, it seems like Simon Williams is going to lie and say he doesn't have superpowers and stuff. And we also have in this episode the actor named Demetrius Gross has a mysterious role that they have not revealed to us, but there's rumors that he may be playing the little brother of Wonder Man, which his little brother becomes a Marvel character named Grim Reaper, which that's a whole different whole different beast to it. And what we see with that is there's what it seems like just the idea of it is this could lead up to the mutant saga that's coming up in the next phase in the MCU because these are characters you could say they are mutants, they have mutant powers, or you could and they don't have to technically be mutants, but this is a way you could introduce it. And this is a character that is part of the West Coast Avengers, which that's a whole comic book series. So this is has a lot of potential. Now, obviously, this show is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different from the comic book. So, what is Wonder Man's superpower? Well, let's get into that. Well, he has energy power, which energy power is basically like think of Dragon Ball. Think of Goku, Vegeta. Their chi is enhanced and they have the ability to focus and make energy and turn it into a beam. He has superhero strength. He has speed ability, so he can run fast, but maybe not like the Flash or anything, but he can run fast. And he also has other abilities that I'm not sure, but one thing is a fun fact to one of his that all his superpower or power ability is you'll see, and they showed this in a lot of the Wonder Man trailers, is that his eyes change his color. And what that means is it's his mood. So if he's having positive thoughts, he's using his positive energy. But if he has a negative thoughts, he's using negative energy as a power blast, right? Like one of these. And what's fun is the difference between those two obviously is positive, negative. He can maintain himself using positive energy, but with negative, it takes a toll on him and it could corrupt him because his anger or sadness or depression is giving him thoughts and he's not using like his logic. He's being blind by his anger. And so his eyes turn red, sometimes dark, sometimes purple. It's like his eyes are just color to the whatever mood he's in, basically. And it takes a toll on him. And so it's very important for him to not be tempted by evil. And it's very important for him not to get angry. Not like the Incredible Hulk angry, but he may not stop laying the smackdown on somebody. He may keep going, keep punching. He might blow up some buildings and not stop, and then innocent people get hurt. So he's a very powerful guy or part, and he's he's also, you know, somebody who, again, he has a history to it. So let me explain the comic book history first, and then let me explain how the MCU has kind of rechanged his origin story, because this is definitely going to have a few episodes of his origin story for sure out of 8. And so let's start with the comic book. So in, let's see, the year 1964, there's a comic book called The Avengers, comic book number 9. Number 9. And this comic book was pretty much one of his origin stories. And it had characters like Baron Zemo, and they also had Vision. Now, in the comic books, Baron Zemo is the one who did an experiment on Simon Williams, who becomes Wonder Man, and he pretty much made him a walking life energy battery, basically. And originally he was supposed to, be the villain. Wonder Man was supposed to become the villain that helps Baron Zemo take down the Avengers, right? Take down good old Spider-Man. But Wonder Man said no way to that, because he was the good guy the whole time. He doesn't want to hurt people. And so in this comic book, he does die in this, and then later on in comic book history, they have revive and change Wonder Man's origin story. And so it become his origin story becomes different, but 1964 was like the first time in comic book. And with that first comic book, they also showed Vision. Now in the comic books, Simon Williams' brain pattern is how they created the Marvel character Vision from, obviously, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, and then the Disney Plus series by Marvel, WandaVision, and soon to be, and I think it comes out this year, it's called Vision Quest, but it's the same Vision from Age of Ultron. And so the difference is Baron Zemo created Vision, but in the MCU, Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, created Vision in the movie Avengers Age of Ultron. So the idea of Wonder Man's brain pattern is how they created Vision is going to be somewhat different in the MCU of the because it's live action, of course, too. And obviously, they never at that time there was no thought of greenlighting a Wonder Man series or movies at that time, because there are only well, not only characters, but there are only few characters that Disney was willing to greenlight to make live action superhero films at that time. But as years of success, now Disney's confident, Marvel Studios confident in greenlighting a unknown popular character named Wonder Man, which a lot of people don't know who that is. A lot of people didn't know this character exists unless you're a comic book fan. And I recommend guys to read a Wonder Man comic book, whatever version, because again, guys, they have revived this character and changed this character's origin story in the comic books. So anywhere you start, guys, I encourage you to go to your local comic book store and just check out and read a Wonder Man comic book. So how do I think but how do I think this is going to be different in the MCU? I think the only thing is is as far as like I said earlier that in the comic books they use Wonder Man's brain pattern to create Vision. I believe in theory, just a prediction, that since they have an all Vision has come back to life, right? But it's an all new body and it's all white Vision. So his whole the new body of Vision is white, and we haven't seen that Vision since WandaVision. He just disappeared because in the WandaVision series, that was just Wanda, who's the Scarlet Witch, has created and may have taken a variant version of Vision into her little bubble that she created since Avengers Endgame and stuff, because she's been traveling in the multiverse since Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. So that could have just been a variant of Vision, but the original Vision who died in Avengers Endgame, the government within the MCU has rebuild that body, took the broken body because it is robotic, cyborg, enhancement type body, and they brought it back to life. But the Vision from WandaVision gave him his old memories back and stuff, which I have a theory that since I believe that could have just been a variant version of Vision, that the Vision that got brought back to life from the death of Thanos has memories from a different multiverse. So that's just a fun theory I want to put out. But what I think is Wonder Man in this is going to lead up to meet that Vision who is going to be all white, all in white. And that is, again, that's the Vision that died by Thanos' hand after he took the Soul Stone off his forehead. But I believe that these two characters are going to meet, and then they're going to use his brain pattern to fix and rebuild Vision again. That's what I think. That's why I think Agent P clearly is actually after Wonder Man. That's just my prediction. But we'll find out on January 27th. So we'll find out. But that's what I think is going to be like, because again, the movies and the shows are totally different from the comic book. And I don't know if we're gonna see Baron Zemo in this. It doesn't seem like it, but he might show up. But for whatever reason, but he may show up, but I just don't see it just the way because of Captain America Brave New World ended. So but I could be wrong on that. And those are just some fun facts about Wonder Man. Again, he has some really good, awesome superhero powers. He's a it's an interesting character. It's a guy who has superhero powers that just wants to be an actor. And for the comic book fans, they know that he's one of the main members of the West Coast Avengers. And so let's get into another theory that I would like to share with you guys about that. So my theory is this, that this is going to be the start of the West Coast Avengers. I think in theory that we'll have Ms. Marvel. I think we'll have She-Hulk, and I believe we'll have Daredevil in there. And I think this is going to build up to the other members of the West Coast Avengers. And again, in comic books, the Avengers and the West Coast Avengers, they always have different members within the group, so it's never like, what you're going to see. Like, what you see in the movies, that's the official team members because it's live action. But in comic books, there's variant different members of the Avengers. So it's gonna be interesting. I have an idea theory too that Star Lord is probably gonna be part of the West Coast Avengers. But I think this is going to be the start of planting the seeds, aka those Easter eggs, those clues I like to leave for us Marvel fans who like to dig deep and find out the theories and clues and stuff. But I think this is the beginning of the West Coast Avengers, which they pretty much represent California and the West Coast. So I think that's going to be cool, guys. But that is my video, guys. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talking Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you can always be updated with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace.